Hello, this is practice video number 5 for Night on Ball Mountain, and we are at letter P. First thing we're going to do is just take on that complex rhythm that happens 3 after P. So let's clap and count this together. Again, making sure you understand how this rhythm is structured and created before you play it at a fast speed. So that's what we're doing. Clap and count. So pause the video, figure it out, and then come back and we'll clap and count it together. You've come back. That means you're ready. Third bar of P. Here we go. 2 E and A, 1 E and A, 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 2 E and A, 1. Okay, that's the clapping and counting. Now we're going to pluck and count it. Slow it down a little. Pause this again. Go figure out, check out the notes, right? The key signature, it's hard to see because there's so many naturals, but there is one flat, right? Make sure you get that happening. But then it changes, accidentals kick in. Just go through it, figure out the notes, be able to pluck and count it, and then we'll do it together when you come back, which is now. You're back. Here we go. Start in the third bar of P. So 2 E and A, 1 E and A, 2 E and A, 1 E and A, 2 E and A, 1 E and I'm gonna slow it down and A, 1 E and A, 2 E and A, 1 E and A, 2 E and A, 1 E and 2 E and Alright, yeah, so I'm always saying tempo is not an issue. Slow it down as you need to. This needs to go super slow as you pluck and count it so that you really fit everything in the right spot because we can only pluck so fast as humans. Now, let's go to the bow. Alright, so I'm going to go a little faster than that because it's a lot easier to bow than it is to pluck. But pause this, practice it, get comfortable with the bowings and the crescendos, decrescendos, the hairpins, etc., back and forth between pits and arco, and then let's do it together, okay? So you've come back, and here we go. This is third bar of P. 2 E and A, 1 E and A, E and A, E and A. Okay, so that's that at a super slow speed. Now let's find it with a metronome. So this is to the quarter note. So let's do 96 to the quarter note. Okay, and we'll start right at letter P this time. So 1 and, so it's the quarter note's clicking, I'm going to count in 2. 1 and 2, letter P. 1 and 2 and 1 E and 2 E and Okay, that's at 96 to the quarter note. Now I'm going to do 1 to the half note. Let's do it at the same speed I've been doing everything at 66. This eventually becomes an effect, but building it up correctly is key, and that's what we're doing right now. Okay, this is letter P. This is the half note clicking. 66. 1 and 2 and. Okay, so did I get everything I wanted? No. I would slow it down more, I would practice it more, and I would make sure that I'm secure. So let's do a little bit of that right now. Let's bring it down, half note equals 56. Let's see if we can get more of what's on the page. The time before, I essentially got the basic needs, right? But those hairpins are a nightmare, because why? Look at them. They're backwards, right? Down bow crescendo, up bow decrescendo. Down bow crescendo, up bow decrescendo. So weaving that in is one of the biggest challenges. So let's do it. Letter P. 1 and 2 and. Okay, so let's isolate on the last 2 bars. Those are giving me trouble as well, right? So 1 E and on. Let's do that again. 1 E and 2 E and dun 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 on. Okay, one more time. 1 and 2 and. Okay. All right. One more time. We're close. Ready? 1 and 2 and. All right. Now let's do it again. Back to P. See if we can put that in context since we've isolated on it. Letter P. 1 and 2 and. Better. Eventually, that would just get woven in, and you're going to get really, really comfortable with the hairpins and with everything, right? And then you speed it up, and eventually it does. Maybe it's not 100% perfectly rhythmic. It's as much an effect as it is, like, you know, he wants his. It's like a slide. The don, but it's important you understand how it all works. Okay, so that's that. I'm not going to go over the next line because that's the beginning. We've done it already. Q. We've done a lot of that work at what I believe is letter M. Yeah, that's where we took care of all that with the triplets. So I'm just going to play through it. And it's forte, and there's not a whole lot of phrasing that's going on here, right? You're just simply... at 66, it's not going to be crazy fast either, but let's do it at that speed. And yeah, this is not crazy hard, and it's not a whole lot of phrasing either. It's important you're hearing the melody that's going on behind you, right? Because it kind of helps inform. But let's just get this. This needs to be technically right on. 1 and 2 and. Yeah, caught me a little bit off guard at the end there because the pattern shifts. Let's look at that. Make sure that rhythm's right. Okay. Yeah, so up to the bottom line, it's straight ahead as long as you're working on your triplet bowing and like really working on it, right? Because eventually this is and there is an endurance thing that kicks in too because you're doing this for like 12, 14 measures in a row. Let's take a look slow motion at the bottom line. So 1 and 2 and. Yeah, so it's down bow. It's two before R. Ready? 2 and okay, pretty straight ahead, right? That'll all come together in context. Letter R, very similar to the previous section as well, but let's go over that to make sure we are secure. So first thing here is we do a clap and count rendition. So let's set it up. The triplets are going to move. I think we can do it. Let's do it at 60. Okay, you pause this, you figure it out, and then come back and we will clap and count together. Letter R. So 1 and 2 and 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 1. Okay, pretty straight ahead. S is really straight ahead. Okay, so we can, and let's just go over that on a left-hand level now. So as you look through it, you can do these chords, right? Because it's an effect and it's 1. Just got to make sure your first finger's in tune, and you kind of play them all at once. 1. You just hit the string aggressive, and then same thing. Percussion's going wild here. The brass are going wild here. This is aggressive, hard hitting. This does not need to be beautiful. It can't be nasty, but it can get gritty. That's totally fine. All right, and then we're going to go into the piano. So this is the bar before the piano. And then we're going to do a new fingering. New fingering, okay? So write this in. This is the last 3 measures of the top line. So it starts on that A. That A gets a 4, then 3 in the G sharp, 2 on the G, X1 on the F, and then you shift. Your hand is moving a whole step, that's all, to 4, to 3, to 2, to 2, and then 1, and then first position, and then the rest is first position until a bar and 3/4 before S, where you're going to second finger on the G, and that's a parallel spot to the earlier place where you were trilling. It's that second finger trill leading back. So just 2 on the G there. And then it sets you up for the 1. Okay, and again I use that vibrato trill to get enough speed. You may not need to use that. You might be able to just go fast enough. That's about as fast as I can do with my 4th finger. It's just always been weak, and I had to develop that vibrato trill. So, and it really, all that is just without getting tense, you kind of lock your hand and you do vibrato, and you let that pinky just go up and down. Okay, and it creates a very fast trill. All right, that's the left hand overview. So make sure you get that fingering, because then it becomes this. This is 3. This is the fingering spot. So we can do it together. You ready? 1 and 2 and. Okay, so that's that. Make sure you can pluck and count that, and then I would do some hover bowing there as well. the aggression of the articulation. Listen to the recording here, it's big. All right, that section's pretty solid. Let's move forward. T plays itself. And then poco più sostenuto, the exact parallel spot here, except it's in a different key. At least it starts off as an exact parallel to the previous poco più sostenuto. So let's just go over that to make sure that you've got all your notes right. Fingerings. The rhythm, let's pluck and count it first. You know, make sure, pause the video and go through, get the left hand taken care of. Tell you what, before we plug and count it, let's get the left hand settled, right? So A sharp is B flat, so it's just, and then fourth position. Okay, and then you're set up, you're right there, and you cross over, low F sharp, we'll go on. Then you're shifting. It's a minor third shift. Back to A sharp. Open D. Extend. Half position. Third position extension. That's all it is. Okay? So let's pluck and count that. Poco più. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. We're going to jump ahead to the next one. 2 and 1 and 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 2 and 1, and it just goes on. It's very straight ahead. Letter U, again, the triplet bowing. Triplet bowing kicks in before S, triplet bowing kicks in at letter U. It's all about the triplet bowing. Make sure you put a lot of time into that work we did in the previous video at letter M to set up your... Make sure you can do your G scale like that. And then that should set you up for this. So let's look at U and make sure the left hand is taken care of. Let's not even do the triplets. Just make sure we're clear here. And there's a new fingering, which I'll give you. So just take your pencil out, Ashley, and let's mark that in at U. So here goes U. And then just play the B and then shift to 4 on the B flat. And then you're set up to bar, open, hand moves a half step to, and then back first position. And then third, bar, hand moves a half step for the trill. And then you're home free and away. Hand moves up a half step because of the S sharp. It stays there. Then it goes back a half step. Okay, that's the overview there. I don't think we need to pluck and count letter U. No, you do, because of the triplets and then the whole note. So let's pluck and count that slowly. Pretty slowly, because we're like 1 and 2 and yeah. So ready, letter U, 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. This is key. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1, 2, 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. That's the same rhythm over and over again. I kept saying this is key. Those whole notes, everyone loves to cut those whole notes off early. If you do your counting steps, you will prevent that mistake from occurring. Okay? So, I think we are ready to do a run-through of P to V. And that will be the end of your practice videos. Alright, this is not easy. Lots of material between these two sections, although a good amount of it is repeated from earlier, or at least similar from things we had done earlier. Here we go. So 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and Jump ahead, letter T. 1 and 2 and. Yeah, I would use 2 strings there. I would do D on the G string and match it with the open string just for power. Everything in the orchestra is going wild there, okay? Now, I'm going to turn the metronome off for the poco più sostenuto so I can really get the accelerando in there. All right, and I'm going to I'll go the rest of the way without the metronome. Of course, I'll be staying as steady as I possibly can. It should be pretty steady. So here we go. 1 and 2 and. Yeah, well, that's a lot of fun. So, look, the key here with all of this is learn it thoroughly, learn it well, and then speed it up from there. Do not just listen to the recording and play and hope, right? The audition is structured in a way that you will never be able to get away with that. Even if you could pull it off without showing your work or without having done your counting steps, you're not going to get away with it in this audition because, well, 2 reasons. One, I'm gonna put a bunch of plucking and counting with a metronome type steps in there, clapping and counting, all sorts of different things. And the reason I'm doing it, the second part of this, is we do a ton of that in Philharmonia, and so there's just no reason for you to try to do this without doing your steps. I think you all understand that at this point. I just want to reiterate that one more time to make sure that you all totally get that and are locked into it, because the last thing I want is for you to practice all this time and then not have done the right things. And I think I've made that pretty clear, okay? I think I've made what the right things are pretty clear. So good luck, practice lots. Oh, and W to the end, I'm not going to put that on the audition. But definitely have listened so you have a sense for what goes on there. Okay, good luck everyone. See you soon.